If you didn't watch the first 100 days of Terraria, well, it's okay, let me catch you up. Here's a little recap. Basically, I progressed through Terraria killing the main bosses and ended up defeating the final boss just before the 100 days ended. But because I was rushing through, I didn't accomplish everything that I wanted to because there's just, a lot to do in Terraria. So these next 100 days are dedicated to tying loose ends and completing most of the things that I didn't do yet. So we're gonna separate these goals into 4 parts. Goal number 1, beating the 3 in-game events that I skipped: the Pumpkin Moon, the Frost Moon, and the Old One's army. 2, create what is known to be the strongest weapon in Terraria. 3, complete the Terrarian Pokédex, aka the Bestiary, by finding every single enemy in Terraria and receiving access to the Master Pylon. 4, to defeat the boss that I consider personally harder than the Moonlord. This boss hates the sun. I've never beaten this boss, but hopefully I can in this video. This video will have parts dedicated to each goal. There are timestamps, so feel free to hop around for each part. Just a note, throughout this video, I accidentally called the Space Dolphin Machine Gun the Sub-Dolphin Machine Gun. Ignore that. I also accidentally called the Universal Pylon the Master Pylon. Ignore that as well. But yes, a lot of time and effort was put into this video, so I hope you guys enjoy. So first things first, after I defeated the Moonlord, well, I was going to defeat the Moonlord again, because I needed his loot. Day 101 to day 102, I spawned the Lunatic Cultist and I was killing the pillars. Day 103, this is when I realized that my skill was still all over the place. I took a break after doing the 100 days, and I died to the Moonlord 3 times. But I was able to kill him 1 time after all that, and I got the Sub-Dolphin Machine Gun. So that was pretty good. This gun is better than the gun that I had, so, it shoots faster, does more damage. I'll take it. On day 104, I spawned the Martian Madness event. In the last 100 days, I got slaughtered. Absolutely destroyed. I didn't kill anything, but things are different now. I actually killed the Martian UFO this time, and I got its mount, so that was pretty cool. The UFO actually respawned and killed me a few times, but eventually I adapted to its attack pattern, and I got used to it, and eventually I started killing it more. I'm also going to be fishing for the quest fish from the angler, because I need to get his fishing quest up and get the achievement, because I've been playing Terraria for a long time and I never got it yet. On day 105, I was farming glorified ore to get glorified bullets. On day 107, I died a shiz ton. But I did kill the Moonlord, and I got the Meow Mirror, which is a melee sword that shoots out cats. On day 108, I decided to get the Sunstone, which drops from the Golem. The Sunstone increases your stats during the day, but I wanted to craft the Celestial Stone, which increases your stats overall. So I went to the jungle to go to the Lizard Temple so I can farm cells to spawn the Golem. I eventually began AFKing to get more spawners because I can. On day 109, I decided to take a break, and I decided to make the Void Vault and Bag, which I should have made earlier, but I didn't know it existed. It basically functions like a backpack, so it extends my inventory, so you can see why it's really useful. Then I went back to the temple and I AFK'd some more. On day 110, I was grinding the Golem, and I couldn't get this stone. I don't know why. So I had to go back to the temple and AFK some more to get more cells. On day 111, I finally got the Sunstone. It took so long. I combined the Sunstone with my Moon Shell, and I made the Celestial Stone. And then I combined that with my Moon Shell, and I made the Celestial Shell, and I even got warding on it. So that was awesome. This is cool. Now, before doing the Pumpkin and Frost Moons, I thought that I would need an arena near spawn, so I wanted to relocate my forest village by moving it to the Skyland. On day 112, I was going to move the pylon there, but then I wouldn't have access to the pylon, so no teleportation. So I kept the forest pylon near me with 2 NPCs, but I moved most of my forest villagers to the new home. I began making a flat arena just to get ready for the Pumpkin and Frost Moons, and I added lava to the arena. Now, if you don't know, the Pumpkin Moon and the Frost Moons are 15-wave night event. They each have their own enemies, bosses, and delicious loot. I wanted to do the Pumpkin Moon first because I wanted to get the Horseman's Blade, which is what I was going to need to craft the strongest weapon in Terraria later in the video. The Pumpkin Moon is a Halloween-styled event with a flying pumpkin boss and evil trees, so that's very nice. But I already beat the game, so I had post-Moonlord gear, so I was going to be fine. On day 113, I realized that while waiting for nighttime, I decided to control the Crimson biome right next to my base. If I didn't do anything, this would eventually infect my base, and that's not good. I started mining, but then eventually I turned to dynamite to, spare me my my sanity. And then I contained my Crimson biome, and then I used the Clentiminator to purify the forest next to my base. And then when night struck, I summoned the Pumpkin Moon. Now the moon was a pumpkin. Before I stopped talking, during the first wave, I had to destroy the first layer of the platform that I used to kill the Moonlord because they started to spawn above me, and like I said, no, that's not good. This gear made the fight pretty easy, so if anything, this was a slaughter fest. I'll put some music so you guys can enjoy a slaughter fest, right? Is that PG-13? After the Pumpkin Moon event ended, I just wanted the Horseman's Blade, and I had it. You know, this was going to be something that I would use for the strongest weapon in the game, so I kept it. I didn't realize it was going to be this easy with my current gear, but you know, it makes sense. It is endgame gear. So I made the Frost Moon spawner and I prepared to summon it that night. Now the Frost Moon is similar to the Pumpkin Moon, but we have a Christmas theme instead. We have evil Christmas trees, we have robotic Santa tanks, we got this flying ice. When night struck, I summoned the Frost Moon, but this was harder than the Pumpkin Moon because I actually died a few times. Well, cue the music! When 4:30 a.m. struck, I beat the Frost Moon, which was definitely harder than the Pumpkin Moon. So on day 116, I got the spawner for the Frost Legion from the Frost Moon, so I just spawned them and I killed them. This was a pre-hard mode event with some just, you know, really mean snowmen, so it was really easy to kill them. I then tried to beat the old one's army, but for some reason, despite my gear, I couldn't beat them because I just suck at the game. So I thought this was an appropriate time to go and craft the strongest weapon in the game. I was going to go craft the Zenith. Now the Zenith is crafted with most of the swords in Terraria, and I was missing a few of these swords, but I wasn't really worried because a lot of these swords I either had them or I could get them relatively easily. The ones that I was most concerned about was the Terrorblade, the Influx Weaver, and the Star Rat. I had most of the other ones. The Terrorblade was going to be tedious to get. It combines many of the progression-based swords, but I could do it in one day. The Influx Weaver and Star Rat were boss drops, which could potentially take a very long time. On day 117 to 118, I decided to go after the Influx Weaver first. This drops from the UFO boss from the Martian invasion, the one that I fought earlier in the video. I made battle potions so that I can boost the spawn rates, and I went up into space to try and wait for a Martian probe to spawn. But for some reason, they wouldn't spawn. I waited for so long that I got the banner for killing 50 wyverns. Eventually, I moved spots and I moved out further into the world, and it actually spawned like really quickly, but I wish I knew that earlier. After a while, I actually got the Influx Weaver. I was really lucky, and I thought this was really good. I got one of the two swords that I thought will take a really long time, and I thought that maybe I would also get lucky for the Star Rat, but I was very wrong. Also a note, the reason why I didn't have any lunar armor was because I consistently reinvested all the pillar fragments into respawning the Moonlord. I did have the vortex armor, but it didn't really help me kill the Moonlord any faster. And also I thought that if I wanted to craft the solar armor, I would craft it after making the Zenith. On day 120, I killed the Moonlord 3 times and I died to it 1 time. But despite these kills, I didn't get the Star Rat. On day 121, I realized that grinding the Moonlord was going to take a long time, so I thought that I could make a sniper scope made from a rifle scope that drops in the dungeon and a destroyer emblem. This would let me zoom out more and do more damage with my guns, so it would make farming more easier. I went to the dungeon to get the sniper scope and I found the Muramasa, which is a sword that I'll need for the Zenith. I never got it because I didn't think I needed it until now. Eventually I got the rifle scope. Now I thought that I needed to farm the Wall of Flesh to get every single emblem for the Avenger emblem. I thought you needed the Warrior, Ranger, Sorcerer, and Summoner emblem, but no, you only need one. I guess I just didn't see the or in Wikipedia, but I found out this too late, so I grinded for all of them. And also during this point in the video, no voodoo demons spawned, so I couldn't spawn the Wall of Flesh, so I had to conduct a 69 million IQ plan. On day 122, I made a room for the guide in the underworld. I made him move down there and I placed down lava, so this automatically killed him every time he moved down, and it auto spawned the Wall of Flesh. And eventually I got all the emblems I need, so I think I accidentally made an automatic Wall of Flesh spawner, so you can do whatever you want with that information. Eventually, I realized my mistake and I just needed 1 emblem, so I made the Destroyer emblem, and then I made the Sniper Scope that I needed. Now this was going to be grinding time. From day 123 to day 130, I killed the Moonlord about 14 to 15 times. Keep in mind that I used every single lunar fragment to recraft his spawner. I also had to redo the lunar events every single 3 to 4 times I didn't get it to reacquire more fragments. So not only did I kill the Moonlord about 14 to 15 times, I did the lunar event about 4 times, killed the lunatic cultist 4 times. It was just horrible. This was about like a constant grind just to get the freaking Star Raft, and I didn't get it. But finally, on day 130, I got the Star Raft. So yeah, that was some misery for you guys to enjoy. Okay, so this is the crafting tree for the Zenith, so let's go in basically reverse order. So I already had the Meowmere, I had the Star Raft, I had the Influx Weaver, I got the Horseman's Blade from the Pumpkin Moon earlier in the video. I needed to get the Seedler. Now the Seedler drops from Plantera, so I just went to the jungle, I spawned a Plantera, I killed it, and I got it. Very easy. Now the Terra Blade. So to craft the Terra Blade, I was going to start at the beginning of the tree. So I needed to get the Blade of Grass, Muramasa, Fiery Greatsword, and the Lightsbane. I went to the jungle to craft the Blade of Grass, I had the Muramasa from earlier, I have the Fiery Greatsword from earlier in my playthrough, and I crafted the Lightsbane, and that made me the Knight's Edge. I took some hollowed bars out of my chest, and I crafted Excalibur. While crafting these two, Mothron spawned, and I killed it, and I got the Broken Hero Sword because there was a solar eclipse, which was very coincidental. But yeah, that was pretty lucky. Now I needed to craft the true variants of the Excalibur and the Knight's Edge. The true Excalibur was easy to craft. I just needed the Excalibur and some Chlorified ore. I combined them and I got the true Excalibur. To craft the true Knight's Edge, I needed something I didn't have. I needed Souls of Sight. I didn't have enough. So I waited till nighttime and I spawned the twins. I got some Souls of Sight, and then I combined those with the rest of my materials to create the true Knight's Edge. Now I had the true Knight's Edge, the true Excalibur, and the Broken Hero Sword from killing Mothron earlier. I combined all of those and I made the Terra Blade. Now that I had the Terra Blade, I needed an enchanted sword, which I already had from fishing. You can get it from crates. I had the Star Fairy earlier on from my playthrough when I got it from a Sky Island chest. Now I just needed the Copper Short Sword. Now here's the problem. Ironically, the sword that you spawn with, I threw it out. And also, my world doesn't spawn copper, it spawns tin, which is supposed to be its equivalent ore, but you can't use a tin short sword. So basically, I had to get copper from another way. This wasn't too bad though, because I had a plan. I got silk and I ran it through the extractinator until I got enough copper ore, and then I made the copper short sword. So there we go. So on day 132, I combined all the swords that I gathered. And as you can see, the Zenith just melts everything. After defeating the Old One's army, I beat my first goal of beating all the in-game events I didn't do, and I beat my second goal of crafting the strongest weapon in Terraria. And now there was only 2 goals left. Have you ever played Pokemon? Of course you have. At least I hope you did. Terraria's 1.4 update introduced the Bestiary, which tracks all the NPCs and enemies of the game. And if you manage to complete it, you get access to the Universal Pylon, which is a pylon that has no biome restraints. And if I were to get it, I could place it in my house so I can move that forest pylon where I relocated the forest village at. Now, what's really annoying about this is that some enemies are very annoying to get. There are seasonal enemies that spawn, only specifically during Halloween or Christmas. And then there are biome exclusive enemies, such as Underground Crimson, Underground Corruption, Underground Desert Crimson. You get the gist. Now 1.4 did add it where you can actually trigger Halloween and Christmas for one day if you beat the respective event. For example, if I beat the Pumpkin Moon for the following day, that entire day would spawn Halloween based enemies. If I beat the Frost Moon, then the following day would spawn Christmas based enemies. The hard part about this is that the seasonal enemies aren't guaranteed to spawn, and also some enemies like the basic skeleton are way more rare in hard mode because armored skeletons spawn. So it's oh man, it's terrible. Now the biome variants are pretty self-explanatory. All I gotta do is just make artificial biomes for each of them, but that's for later. So on day 133, I made the naughty present to spawn the Frost Moon again. I also killed the Moonlord again, and I got the Star Raft. And wow, that would have been nice to get earlier. On day 134, I killed Skeletron Prime a few times to get more naughty presents because I needed Souls of Fright, I believe. And before summoning the Frost Moon that night, I was going to split the desert into 3 parts. 1 section for the Corruption, 1 section for the Crimson, and 1 section for the Hollowed. I was going to do this very early on so I could let these biomes spread, and there was going to be desert enemies from every single biome that I needed for the regular biome, the underground desert biome, and the Sandstorm, which it's just, there's so much. When nighttime struck, I summoned the Frost Moon, and since I crafted the Zenith, this was very easy. I also crafted solar armor, in order to take advantage of the melee build that I actually had. And woo! During this time, I also made a spreadsheet of all the enemies that I needed to find, and I kept it like here. It's very cute. When it was day 135, Santa Claus came, and I needed him in my bestiary, so that was good. I also saw a Christmas bunny, which I needed for my bestiary, but I accidentally killed it, I think. Or something. It didn't go in my bestiary, basically. So on day 136, I had to resummon the Frostmoon. Also during this time, I needed to find a wall creeper because I never killed one because I never found a spider nest until I was in hard mode. But by the time you're in hard mode, and apparently according to the wiki, they never spawn in hard mode, so I would need a wall creeper statue to spawn it, this was wrong, by the way. I was waiting for the Christmas bunny to spawn, but I caught a regular bunny and it apparently logged it as a Christmas bunny. I wasn't complaining. I began spreading the crimson, the corruption, and the hollow to the desert so I can let it grow over time. And then today I was finished all of the Christmas enemies. So now I was going to move on to the pumpkin moon. I summoned the pumpkin moon, and after beating it on day 137, I went to go statue hunting because I thought that I would need the wall creeper statue, but I don't. And I found that out. I killed a wall creeper, so I didn't need to worry about that. So the wiki was wrong. On day 138 to day 139, I decided to renovate the chest room because I had so many things, and after finishing the renovation, I went down to the underworld to find a tax collector. You can get the tax collector by throwing purification powder on a tortured soul, and after getting the tax collector, I could get the princess NPC because she spawns when all of the NPCs have moved in. And I found a tortured soul, but I accidentally killed him. But it was okay because on day 140, eventually he spawned, and after curing him, I just had to wait until the princess NPC will spawn. Eventually, when the princess came, I bought a prince cape from her, and now both those NPCs are in my bestiary. Now, other than the seasonal and the biome enemies, I was gonna need to create another cavern town in order to spawn gem bunnies and squirrels. So on day 141, I started making a cavern town, and eventually I finished it, and I'm pretty proud of this. I also went to the snow biome to start spreading the 3 biomes like I did to the desert, corruption, crimson, and hollowed. I went back home and I made some gem acorns, aka gem corns. They're like acorns that spawn trees, but if you combine them with a certain gem, like a ruby, a diamond, a sapphire, it will grow into a specific gem tree. For example, if I plant a ruby gem corn, I will get a ruby tree. So this was really cool. And I don't think you needed the gem trees to spawn the respective gem animals, but either way, I thought they were a pretty nice touch. I think the topaz bunny spawned first and then the amber bunny spawned. On day 142, I just spent this day relaxing in the cavern town trying to get all the gem animals. I took a quick break and then I ran into the snow biome to capture some penguins because I needed their biome variants. I threw vicious powder on them and it made them evil and that logged them in the bestiary. I also did the same thing to some bunnies to get them in the bestiary. I also got a pigron for, I actually don't remember the biome variant, but you need 3 pigron variants. There's one for the crimson, there's one for the corruption, and there's one for the hollowed. I had one for one of them, I don't remember what, but I needed 2 more variants. On day 143, I found a goldfish, so I threw vicious powder to get the vicious goldfish and killed that to get that into my bestiary. And then eventually I had all of the gem animals, so that was awesome. For some reason, my bestiary was missing a lot of common enemies like the turtle, the scorpion, and the duck. So for the next few days, I was going to try and get these animals. And then at this point, I looked at my bestiary and I realized that I apparently had most, if not all, of the desert enemies. I just needed a basic scorpion, and I honestly had no idea how, but I wasn't going to complain at all. Now on day 144, I got the scorpion, or at least I thought I did. I got a black scorpion. So then I went to another forest biome. Now this turtle actually took forever to spawn, but it did, because I flooded basically the entire forest with water, and I got it at about, I believe, 4 p.m. Now I just needed that duck. I thought it was time to go back and start farming for the Halloween enemies again because I took a break from that. So I summoned the pumpkin moon and I started hunting them. I also needed to kill the Martian probe because I never killed it in order to spawn the Martian event, so I had to go back up and kill that eventually. So after the pumpkin moon, I was looking through my list, and I didn't know if I needed a slime bunny or a bunny slime, but I got it at 5 o'clock. I AFK'd at the forest, and I killed some of the Halloween zombies, but I needed a few more. I checked my bestiary at day 146, and I apparently had one of them. I think my Stardust Dragon killed it when I was AFKing, but I just needed 1 more, and I needed 2 more skeletons, so I needed 3 more Halloween enemies. So that night, I spawned another pumpkin moon. Farming the skeleton was actually a pain in the butt because they spawn underground, and a majority of the times it's not a skeleton that spawns, it's an armored skeleton that spawns, so it was taking a while. For example, see right here, I don't need the skeleton, but it spawned. There was 3 skeleton variants that I needed. I already had 1, I just need 2 more. On day 147, I made all the underground snow biome into hollowed in order to get the hollowed version of the pigron. Eventually it did spawn and I killed it, so that was awesome. I also needed a spore zombie, so I went to my jungle biome and I turned my old jungle platform bridge into a mushroom biome, and then eventually after a while it did spawn and I killed it. On day 148 it didn't spawn, but I did get a metal detector, so that was awesome. On day 149 I killed a lot of enemies during the pumpkin moon. I usually don't do this, but I was just killing everything to, you know, let off some steam from not getting the skeleton. And there was so much loot that I accidentally threw away my crystal staff because I was throwing everything away just so quickly. And then I went down into my mine again, and around 8:36 in the morning I had it. I don't know how. I think it was from my Stardust Dragon, but I had it. So I had all the Halloween enemies. So that was awesome. Now I wanted to go get the Martian probe, so I went up into space. It spawned. I killed it. I got it in my bestiary. Awesome. Now I needed the explosive bunny, so I crafted it. It was in my bestiary, so boop. I checked my bestiary one more time, and I realized that I still needed the scorpion. And it was because I didn't get the proper scorpion. I got a black scorpion. So I actually had to go back into the desert and farm it. But before I did that, I went underground into the Crimson to farm the Crimson Axe. And on day 150, it did spawn. It spawned at about 4 a.m. and I got it. Nice! I went up to the desert and there was a sandstorm. So that means there's going to be a sand shark, which is the last enemy I needed from the desert. And I got it. So that was awesome. Let's go! I need a sand shark, which is right there! I decided to go back into the underground snow biome and infect it with crimson because I needed the crimson pigron, and then eventually it spawned and I killed it, so awesome, it was in my bestiary. Then I went back to my crimson underground to farm the crimson mimic. Now the problem is you can't just put souls of night and make a key in order to spawn it because it spawns your naturally spawned evil, which for me was corruption, so I needed to wait for a crimson mimic to spawn. And then after waiting for a while, I got bored, so I summoned the Torch God event, which I've never done before. You have to put like 100 torches down, I believe. So after I did that, I beat it, and it was in my bestiary now. On day 151, I was running around trying to get it to spawn somehow, and I was messing around. But then I saw that it actually spawned, and I killed it. So, awesome! Oh, Crimson Mimic. Oh my god, where? Where? Hello? Hello? Where are you? Where are you, my friend? Hello? You're dead. Now all I needed was the scorpion and the duck. Now I made the desert pure again, and I made everything really smooth so, you know, it could spawn eventually. And after waiting a while, it did spawn. Oh, that's what I need. Let's go. We got it. We got it. Two more. I just needed the duck now, and I don't know why I couldn't find a duck this entire time. I went to my spawn and I turned that large arena into water. I made a little hole for a lake, and eventually after waiting a while it spawned and I caught it. Oh, that's a duck! Come here! Where's my net? One more. Oh my god, one more. One more. Now there was only one thing left for me to complete the bestiary, and that was the Empress of Light. Now the Empress of Light is a hollowed boss that was introduced with the 1.4 update, so I've never beat her before. You are supposed to kill her before the Moon Lord, so yeah. She spawns when you kill a prismatic lacewing. Basically a shiny dragonfly. The shiny dragonfly spawns at nighttime in the hollowed, so you're supposed to kill her at nighttime. But you can catch the shiny dragonfly and kill it in the daytime. And if you do that, the Empress of Light spawns and she's very mad and she'll enter something called an enraged state, where one hit is insta-kill. But if you can kill her in this enraged state, you can get the Terra Prisma, which is basically a very cool summon item. And I wanted that, I never had it. So I did some practice in my alternate world because I thought this was gonna take a while. And you can actually cheese it with the Zenith, but I thought that wasn't gonna be fair. So I just used my sub dolphin machine gun. That way the fight is somewhat harder and you can enjoy it. You know, there's going to be some cool things playing in the background. On day 152 to 153, I was making an arena for the Empress of Light. I was going to be flying around everywhere because she moves really fast. I also got a lot of chlorophyte to make chlorophyte bullets so that I can focus on dodging instead of aiming more. Then I spawned a blood moon to increase the spawn chances and hopefully catch more shiny dragonflies. And then on day 154, I'll just show the footage. my god, I did it! Now, I will put all of the deaths at the end of this clip because I just, you know, people recommended that in the last video. There we go. There we go. I killed the Empress of Light. And that was awesome. So now I had the Bestiary 100%. I could craft the Master Pylon. And I had everything done, basically. And yeah, that was awesome. So by this point, I finished all of my goals. All the in-game events, the Zenith, the Universal Pylon, and I beat the Empress of Light. You know, there was a few things that I could do, like craft the cell phone, complete all the achievements, spruce up all of my houses. But other than that, I was pretty much done with vanilla Terraria. So yeah, so for the last 45 days, you know, I just decorated my house. I did a lot of decorating. I tried to get all of the armor sets. I did a lot of fishing to get my achievement, and I finally got it. So if you got this far, then I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for the support on the last video, and I appreciate all of the nice comments. Like I said in the last video, if you have any suggestions, any comments, anything you have to say, put them down in the comments so I can reply or I can check them out. But other than that, thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like and have a good day. Oh my! Holy sh! No! No! Oh my! I'm not paying attention. I'm not paying attention. Oh my god! 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 No! No! It was so. I don't know how many times it saved me, but it saved me so many times, and I love it. No! 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 Why didn't it dodge? No! Why did I go next to her? Why did I go next to her? Wow! No! 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 Oh my god! Please! Hold on! I'm sorry. I died. I'm gonna kill myself.